When the forces of evil assault this quintessential American lifestyle, that's a case for Darrel Dawkins, Trailer Park Detective. Tonight, join us as Darrel Dawkins, Trailer Park Detective, investigates the case of the big top blackmailer.
It was a perfect fall day in South Shore. The kind you live for in these parts. Warm, but with low humidity during the day and cool-ish in the evening. When you walk the dog in the morning, your heart skips a beat at the knowing of it. In Florida, you congratulate yourself every day for living in a place with such beautiful weather. That's just what I was doing when... Hello? Yeah, this is Dawkins. You're an extortionist? Is this a confession?
No, I'm a contortionist.
Ah, you're a contortionist. Okay, I'll be right over. The call's from the guy who went by the name of Bendo the Magnificent. He lived in a trailer park that for the past 70 years has been the preferred community for retired circus performers. It's known locally as big top bungalows, but its original wooden cabins have long since been replaced by neatly kept double wides. Bendo was a contortionist and had been quite a phenom in the circus world 40 years ago. He declined to discuss over the phone why he was calling, saying only that he was having a serious problem. I gunned my motorcycle and headed out. As I proceeded up the front walk of Bendo's trailer, I noticed a small sign which read, "Welcome to the Pretzel Palace." It was nice to see that Bendo had a sense of humor, and I wondered what could be troubling him so much that he felt he had to call me. As I reached his front door, it opened. And there he stood, as thin as I had remembered him from back in the day, but in a cruel play on his stage name, he was now quite stooped and needed a walker to get around. Bendo had become bend over. Sad. I guess the years of tying himself in knots had loosened his ligaments to the point where, well, you know. For all of that, however, he smiled and seemed much relieved to see me. Although I was intrigued to meet a man whom I had seen perform on my very first visit to the circus when I was a kid, I stuck to formalities and introduced myself. Good morning, I'm Darrel Dawkins.
Oh, Mr. Dawkins, thank you for getting here so quickly. I am Bendo, the Magnificent. Won't you come in?
Bendo's home is like a circus museum. Posters lined the walls and various kinds of memorabilia littered every table and countertop. For a moment, I was transfixed as I took it all in. And then, for another moment, I was suddenly back in my youth as memories of childhood circus visits flooded my brain.
Mr. Dawkins, are you okay?
Huh? Oh, sorry, Bendo. Seeing all your memorabilia here took me back to when I was a kid and I saw you perform.
You saw my actor?
You bet. When you climbed into that 5-gallon water jug, I was transfixed. I tried climbing into small spaces for weeks after that, until I got stuck in our kitchen garbage pail and my mother told me, "Darrel Dwayne Dawkins, if you ever do that again." Anyway, what prompted you to call me?
Mr. Dawkins, we got big trouble here.
What kind of trouble?
I got an anonymous phone call. A voice says to me, if you want to see this weekend, put the $40 in an envelope and leave it in your mailbox.
Really?
Yes. The phone, reception kept breaking up, but I'm positive he said to put $40 in an envelope if I wanted to see this weekend. My life is being threatened, Detective. Not to mention that while $40 may not seem like a lot to you, I live on a fixed income, and I have to make every dollar count.
Bendo, this is serious. Let me look around a bit, talk to some of the neighbors, that sort of thing, and see what I can find out.
I appreciate that, Detective Dawkins, but you may want to know that some of my neighbors aren't here. For example, Amo, the human cannibal, and Swingo, the trapeze artista, are snowbirds, and they drove up north last April.
They drove?
Yes, they hate to fly. Fear of heights.
Anyone else?
Well, yes, Cat O, the lion tamer, is over in a Tampa getting his allergy shots. But I'm sure he's not the caller. He's so allergic to cat hair, he could have stopped the sneezing long enough to make the phone call. And Laffo, the clown, is currently at the Ode to Joy clinic being treated for depression.
I see. Are there any more?
No, that's about it. Look, I really appreciate you coming this morning, Detective, and I can't wait for you to solve this problem.
Well, I'll do my best, Bendo. If Bendo was telling the truth, this was a serious and puzzling case. Who would threaten an aging contortionist? And for $40? It just didn't add up. I approached the nearest neighbor and rang the bell. When the door opened, there stood an elderly woman in shorts and a tank top. Every inch of her exposed shoulders, arms, and legs was tattooed.
May I help you?
Good morning, I'm Darrel Dawkins, Trail Park Detective. I'm investigating a potentially serious situation in this community, and I'd like to ask you some questions, if I may.
Hi, I'm Picto, the tattooed lady, and that's a relief.
A relief? How so?
Well, I get a constant stream of bikers, hippies, and all-purpose weirdos coming to my door, wanting to see my tats. Thought you were one of them. Drives me crazy.
I'll bet. But I must admit they are impressive. How did you get into body art?
Well, it all started with this hummingbird that I had done when I was a teenager.
That's a hummingbird? I thought it was a vulture.
Nah, just the ravages of time and all that. Gravity always wins, Detective. Gravity always wins.
It was fun talking to Picto. But when she swore that she had received no threatening phone calls, I thanked her and left. The next trailer had no doorbell in evidence, so I knocked. There stood a woman who had to be at least 300 pounds.
Yes?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Darrel Dawkins, Trailer Park Detective.
How do you do? I'm Trotto the Great.
Trotto. I'm investigating a potentially serious situation here at Big Top Bungalows. May I ask, have you experienced any unusual phone calls recently? Threats, demands for money, things like that?
No. Can't say that I have.
Well, do you know of anyone who might want to harm Bendo?
Wow. No, he's the nicest guy I know. Besides, circus folks are a tight-knit community, Detective. We would never harm each other.
I see. Trotto, you seem a little young to be retired. What did you do in the circus?
Oh, I was a bareback rider. And I married Trippo, the tightrope walker. When his eyesight got bad, he could no longer see the wire. I sold my horses and we retired.
So what do you do with your time these days?
I sell Avon products. If you ever have a problem with mosquitoes, Detective, I can cut you a great deal on Skin So Soft.
Thanks, Trotto. I'll keep that in mind.
You're welcome.
And thanks for your help.
No problem, Detective. No problem at all. No.
This case seemed to be going nowhere fast. I could only hope that some kind of break would happen soon. I walked to the next neighbor's trailer and rang the bell. Instead of the usual chime, it announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages." I guess that this was the home of the ringmaster.
Good morning. What brings you to my door?
Good morning! Good morning. I'm Darrel Dawkins, Trailer Park Detective. I'm investigating a serious case here in the community, and I need to know if you've experienced any unusual phone calls recently.
No. Why?
I have reason to believe that someone is threatening Bendo.
Why would anyone do that? He's the nicest guy you could ever want to meet.
Yeah, well, someone told him that if he wanted to see this weekend, he'd better put $40 in an envelope. You find that funny, do you, Mr.
The name's Claude. And yes, I do find it funny, Detective. And I think I can definitely help you solve your case.
Claude's explanation had me hurrying back to Bendo's to put him at ease.
Detective, that wasn't so quick.
Yes, and very productive, Bendo. But before I tell you what I think has happened here, let me ask you a few questions. Do you use a cordless phone?
What? See, yes.
And do you like to move around when you talk or use it outside in the yard?
Right again, Detective.
And I suspect you sometimes forget to put it back on the base unit so that the battery is always charged, right?
You are a 3 for 3, Detective, but how do you know all this?
As Darrel Dawkins, trailer park detective, it's my job to know. Bendo, you said the phone reception kept breaking up when you got the threatening call. Actually, you missed portions of the message because you were either slightly out of range of your base unit and or the battery was getting low.
Oh my goodness, Detective, I am so embarrassed.
I've just come from talking to the person who made that call. It was Claude.
Our ringmaster? Why would he want to threaten me?
He wasn't threatening you, Bendo. Your phone's poor reception prevented you from hearing what he actually said. His message was, if you want to go deep-sea fishing this weekend, put $40 in an envelope and stick it in your mailbox.
You are amazing, Detective Dawkins. Hey, any chance you could have loaned me $40?
When the forces of evil assault this quintessential American lifestyle, that's a case for Darrel Dawkins, Trailer Park Detective. Join us next time when Darrel Dawkins, Trailer Park Detective investigates the case of the loopy landscaper.